What's up, guys? Welcome to the 7th episode of the podcast. This Thursday, the regular season begins for all 30 teams, and I can't wait. MLB The Show comes out this week. This week is just going to be amazing. Now, before the season begins, I would like to give my 2019 predictions, including divisional standings as well as end-of-the-year awards. I want to get right into this, and I want to start off with the NL MVP award. And a lot of you will be very surprised to hear me say this and predict this. But I predict that Bryce Harper wins the 2019 MVP award. Now, when he signed with the Phillies, I was very skeptical. Before he signed with the Phillies, I was very skeptical of Bryce Harper. But you know what? I've been watching him over the past couple of weeks since signing with the Phillies. The way he's repping Philadelphia, the way he's vibing with his teammates, the way he's playing in spring training. I think Bryce Harper is going to feed off of the contract that he just signed. I think he's going to feed off his new teammates. And I think he's going to feed off the city of Philadelphia. I think he's going to catch fire somewhere around June and July. Even win, back-to-back Player of the Month awards. I think he's going to catch fire in the middle of the year. I think he's just going to ride it all the way into October and help the Phillies enter the postseason. Now, as the runner-up, I've got Paul Goldschmidt. And in third place, I've got Freddie Freeman. Now, initially, I had Nolan Arenado finishing in third place. But I think Freddie Freeman is going to have a better year. I think Freddie Freeman is going to get pitched to more than Nolan Arenado this year. And also, Freddie Freeman has Ronald Acuna behind him and Josh Donaldson in front of him. Or, Brian Snitker can manipulate and put Ronald Acuna in front of him and Donaldson behind him. Either way, Freddie Freeman is going to get pitches to hit, and he's going to do damage. So, again, I've got Bryce Harper winning the MVP award, Paul Goldschmidt coming in second place, and Freddie Freeman coming in third place. Moving on to the American League and the American League MVP award, I predict that Mike Trout will win his third Most Valuable Player award. This one was just too easy to predict. I didn't want to overthink it. I'm just not going to put anyone over Mike Trout when it comes to the MVP discussion. As my runner-up, I've got Mookie Betts. I think Mookie Betts is going to have an amazing year. I don't think he's going to replicate his 2018 season, but I think he's going to have an incredible year nonetheless. But Mike Trout has incredible years every year since 2012. Even during his down years, they're still MVP-type years. So I've got Mike Trout winning his third MVP award. Mookie Betts as the runner-up, and in third place, I've got Aaron Judge. I think these three candidates are easy to predict. I think all three are going to have incredible years. But ultimately, I think Mike Trout is going to take home the award. Next up, we've got my favorite award, the Cy Young Award, of course. And this time, let's start off with talking about the American League Cy Young Award. I predict that Trevor Bauer has a career year, builds off of his 2018 campaign, and takes home the Cy Young Award. As the runner-up, I've got Justin Verlander, and in third place, I've got Garrett Cole. Now, I believe that Trevor Bauer is building the confidence of an elite, consistent pitcher. And watching him in 2018, before he got injured, he was on the path to winning that Cy Young Award. And when he got injured, it opened up a spot for Blake Snell. It even opened up opportunities for Justin Verlander and Corey Kluber. But I predict, again, in 2019, that Trevor Bauer puts it all together. And I think he's going to take home that award. It may not be unanimously, But I can definitely see Garrett Cole and Justin Verlander kind of stealing votes away from one another, and Trevor Bauer standing above both of them as the winner. Now, as for the National League Cy Young Award, we've got another Philadelphia Philly winning a major award, because I predict that Aaron Nola takes home the 2019 National League Cy Young Award. I believe Aaron Nola is going to build off of his 2018 Cy Young Award caliber season. I think he's going to win between 18 to 21 games. I think he's going to get tons of run support. I think his ERA is going to be in the low twos. I think he's going to be consistent all year long. And I think he's, in a lot of ways, going to run away with that award. As for my runner-up, I've got Jacob deGrom. I believe Jacob deGrom is going to get more run support than last year. But I also believe he's going to be unable to replicate his 2018 historic season. I still think he's going to have an incredible year. I do. But I do not believe that he's going to be able to replicate the ERA. I don't think he's going to be able to replicate giving up between 0 to 3 runs in like 29 or 30 starts or something like that. I just don't see it happening again. And in third place, I've got Walker Buehler. So again, I predict Aaron Nola wins the Cy Young Award in the National League. Jacob deGrom is the runner-up. And in third place is Walker Buehler. The next award we've got is the Manager of the Year award in both leagues, the National League and the American League. Let's start off with the National League. I predict that Gabe Kapler wins the NL Manager of the Year award. And I know a lot of you are saying, you're just picking Philadelphia Phillies to win awards. And I want to say that this was not by design. This wasn't, predicted in terms of, I'm just going to pick all Philadelphia Phillies to win all these major awards. This was, in a lot of ways, a coincidence. And I noticed it when I got to the Manager of the Year award, where I picked 3 Phillies to win major awards. I think in my head, I'm thinking the Philadelphia Phillies are going to be one of the top major stories in terms of teams in 2019. I think as a team, they're going to have a really, really, really good year. I believe they're definitely going to make the postseason. But I think in terms of Manager of the Year, I really do believe that Gabe Kapler will be recognized as having the best year as a manager in the National League. As my runner-up, I've got Joe Maddon of the Chicago Cubs. And in third place, I couldn't just pick one person for third place, because I think 3 guys all have phenomenal chances of even winning the National League Manager of the Year award. But for third place, I think it's going to be either Dave Roberts, Brian Snitker, or Mike Schilt. Now, Brian Snitker won the award, won the Manager of the Year in the National League last year. And he very well may be able to do it again. But I'm still predicting that Gabe Kapler wins the award. Now, in the American League, I believe it comes down to 3 guys: Terry Francona, Alex Cora, and AJ Hinch. I predict that Terry Francona takes home the 2019 American League Manager of the Year award. He is the ultimate manager. He does so much right. And I think a lot of fans don't understand how great of a manager he really is. And if I had to pick one manager, it would be him. In my opinion, he's a future Hall of Fame manager. He's just terrific. And my favorite thing about Terry Francona is that he's old school in terms of he just lets the players go out there and play. You know, he's got a phenomenal pitching staff. He's not afraid to let guys like Corey Kluber and Trevor Bauer and hell, even Carlos Carrasco go 200 innings. You know, he's got weapons and he's not afraid to use them. And that's my favorite thing about Terry Francona. You know, he He's a manager. He manages. He doesn't get in the way. And that's a large reason why I believe he's going to be the manager of the year this year. I can pick that guy any year, but I'm going to pick him in 2019 specifically. My runner-up, I've got AJ Hinch. And in third place, I've got Alex Cora. Now, again, Alex Cora and AJ Hinch, either one of those guys can win the award in 2019. They're both really good managers, and they've got great teams. And, they manage those teams well. So, it could be Alex Cora, AJ Hinch, or Terry Francona. Really, you can just juggle those three and pick a name out of the hat. And they're all good candidates for manager of the year already before the season has already begun. But again, I'm going with Terry Francona. I believe that Terry Francona is the best manager. I think he's got a great team. And in 2019, I just think he's going to push all the right buttons. The Rookie of the Year award is up next. And why not start off with the American League this time? I'm with the majority of fans and predicting that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. will win the 2019 American League Rookie of the Year award. He should have been called up last year. He wasn't. In 2019, the Blue Jays have absolutely no reason to not call this guy up. They're out of excuses. He's going to get called up. And when he gets called up, he's going to slug like crazy. He's going to be hitting home runs left and right. Every game, every other game. He's going to make fans fill up the Rogers Center. And he's going to be must-watch TV. As my runner-up, I've got Eloy Jimenez of the Chicago White Sox. He's the future of this franchise. And he's going to get called up this year. And he's going to produce. And he's going to be a mainstay in that lineup and on the field. In third place, I've got two guys. One being Kyle Tucker of the Houston Astros. I think they're really going to need him. I think that outfield depth is going to be tested. And I think Kyle Tucker is going to produce more than a lot of fans think. Kyle Tucker is a pure hitter. If you haven't watched any of his clips in the minors, go and check him out. He's got a beautiful swing. And when he gets caught up, he's gonna factor into being one of the better prospects this year. The other guy that I had for third place is Brett Honeywell of the Tampa Bay Rays. Now, he's coming back from Tommy John surgery. A lot of sources are saying that he's going to come back in the second half of 2019. I'm hoping he comes back before June. That may be a stretch, but I want to see Brett Honeywell. I've been wanting to see him for 3 years now. He is my favorite prospect. I've made a prospect video on him. Go check that out if you haven't already. But yeah, if he was healthy all year, he would be my pick for Rookie of the Year in the American League. But he may get maybe 10 to 12 starts at most in 2019. Maybe not even that many. But he's definitely going to impress this year. But ultimately, Vladdy is going to take home the 2019 American League Rookie of the Year award. Moving on to the National League Rookie of the Year award, I predict that Fernando Tatis Jr. takes home the award. I think he's going to be head and shoulders the best National League prospect this year. He's going to fit in great at shortstop. He's going to have Manny Machado at third, Ian Kinsler at second, Eric Hosmer at first. I think that infield is going to be great, and I think he's going to become a mainstay in that infield. My runner-up is Victor Robles of the Washington Nationals. And in third place, I've got two guys. I couldn't just pick one. One being Nick Senzel and the other being Kyle Wright. And I want to put emphasis on Kyle Wright because he very well may take home that National League Rookie of the Year. I know I said I believe Fernando Tatis Jr. is going to run away with that award. But Kyle Wright, if you haven't seen him this spring training, he's something special. He was a first-round draft pick for a reason. He's got great stuff. He's learning how to control his pitches. And he's going to get caught up this year. If you look at that Braves rotation right now, it's not complete. And they've got a surplus of pitching talent in the minors, and they're going to get called up, and he's going to be one of the guys to get called up. And if the Braves are in contention in July, August, and September, he's going to be a difference maker. And he's going to be a guy kind of like a Walker Buehler last year. If he gets called up and he starts to make an impact, I think he's going to ride that wave into the postseason and really, really make a difference for that team. So watch out for Kyle Wright. But I still think Fernando Tatis Jr. is going to win Rookie of the Year. I think Victor Robles is going to come in second. But my dark horse is Kyle Wright. I think Kyle Wright is the guy to really look out for in 2019. We've come to our last award, the Comeback Player of the Year award. We're going to start off in the National League, and I predict that Corey Seager will win the Comeback Player of the Year award in the National League. And if for some weird reason, for some odd reason, he doesn't win it, because I really believe he will. If he doesn't win it, I predict that Josh Donaldson will be the guy to take home the award. I'm still sticking with Corey Seager, but Josh Donaldson really sticks out to me. I think he's going to have a great season with the Braves. I think he's going to have an all-star type season. But ultimately, I think Corey Seager is going to win the award in the National League. As for the American League, I've talked about this guy in the New York Yankees podcast. If you've listened to that podcast, you know who I'm talking about, Troy Tulowitzki. I think Troy Tulowitzki is going to have an all-star type year. I think he's really going to make a difference offensively and defensively for the New York Yankees. And I think he's really going to have a year to remember. So I'm sticking with Troy Tulowitzki in the American League, and I'm sticking with Corey Seager in the National League. And my dark horse for Comeback Player of the Year in the National League is Josh Donaldson. So those are my award predictions. And I would like to move on to the second part of this podcast, which is the end of the year divisional standings. Let's start off with the American League. The American League East, to be specific. I believe two teams in this division will make the postseason, the New York Yankees and the Boston Red Sox. I believe the Boston Red Sox will win their division just like last year. And I think the New York Yankees will be a wild card team just like last year. The Tampa Bay Rays, I don't see them winning 90-plus games. And I also don't see them making the postseason. I still think Blake Snell's going to have a great year. I think they're going to have some guys that break out. I think guys like Willie Optimus and some other guys, I think they're going to have good rookie years. I think Tyler Glasnow is going to have a good year as a Ray. But I don't think that they're going to win the division. I don't think they'll come in second. I don't even think they'll challenge for second place. And I love the Rays. I'm a big fan of the Rays. I have been for years, but I just don't see it in the cards for them this year. So I've got the Boston Red Sox in first place, the New York Yankees in second place, the Tampa Bay Rays in third place, the Toronto Blue Jays in fourth place, and the Baltimore Orioles in a very distant fifth place. We move on to the American League West, and this division is highlighted by two teams. We know that Houston Astros are going to make the postseason, but the Oakland A's are a fun team to watch right now. And if they can make a wild card appearance again, that'll be fun for 2019. That'll be a fun start to the postseason. They've got a lot of young talent on that team, and they're dangerous. They're going to be dangerous. They were dangerous last year, and I think they're going to do damage this year. Offensively and defensively, they're going to be spectacular. So look out for the Oakland A's. I've got the standings as such. The Houston Astros in first place, the Oakland A's in second, the Anaheim Angels in third place, the Seattle Mariners in fourth place, and the Texas Rangers in fifth place. Next up, we've got the American League Central, and there's one team that stands head and shoulders above the rest, the Cleveland Indians. They are the best team in their division, and they have all the talent that they need to not just make the postseason, but go pretty far. They've got guys like Corey Kluber and Trevor Bauer and Francisco Lindor and Jose Ramirez, difference makers in the postseason. And if these guys are healthy, you can't count them out. I know they haven't gone very far in recent years, but again, you can't count them out. And they've got Terry Francona as the manager. They're going to make the postseason. We know this. But how far are they going to get? There are two teams in this division that are on the precipice of breaking out and trying to make a wild card appearance this year. And in the future, they want to be the kings of the division. Those teams are the Chicago White Sox and the Minnesota Twins. Now, the White Sox are very much like the San Diego Padres, in which their rebuild is going very, very well. And sooner than later, they are going to win the division. The Minnesota Twins, you know what? They want to win this year. They think they can win this year. They're not going to win this year, but they think they're going to win this year. So watch out for those two teams. But again, we know the Cleveland Indians are going to win the division. They're going to be in the postseason. That's in, that's all. We turn to the National League side, and we're going to start off with the National League East. This division is going to be bonkers in 2019. You've got 4 legitimate contending teams. You've got the Braves, the Nationals, the Mets, and the Phillies. But I've got the standings going Phillies, Braves, Nationals, Mets, and then the Marlins. I want to spend some time talking about this division because this is going to be the most exciting division in 2019. I'm going to be watching so many National League East games. It's going to be crazy. You've got the Phillies. The Phillies are perennial contenders in 2019. You've got the Braves, also contenders, the team that no one's talking about. But they've got Josh Donaldson, who's going to have a great year. They've got Ozzie Albies and Sean Newcomb and Mike Foltynewicz and Freddie Freeman, Ronald Acuna. They've got talent. And their secret weapon is their farm system. They're going to be calling guys up like Kyle Wright, Ian Anderson, so on and so forth. Touki Toussaint. He's going to have a good rookie season. You know, the Braves and the Phillies, I got those two teams at the top for a reason. They're going to be fighting all year long. And I think the Nationals, they're the team that's going to drive a wedge in this division. They're going to be, at the end of the year, they're going to be the spoiler team. They're going to be the team ruining the chances of a team like the Mets or even the Braves, because I've got the Phillies winning the division, and I've got the Braves as a team that may make the wild card. But the Nationals, I'm not going to count them out because they've got Steven Strasburg, Max Scherzer, and Patrick Corbin headlining that rotation. Arguably one of the best rotations in all of baseball. Arguably the best rotation on the National League side. Then you've got the Mets with Jacob deGrom and Noah Syndergaard and Steven Matz and Zach Wheeler. Look at me. I almost forgot about Zach Wheeler, and I'm a big fan of Zach Wheeler. You know, so, I mean, look, you can cross out the Marlins. That team is not going to be a factor. So you got 4 legitimate contenders in the National League East. And I don't think any of these teams are going to go away lightly. I think the Mets, if they have injuries, you can cross them right off the board. But if their pitching staff is healthy, they're going to do just fine. But again, the Phillies, man, that team really sticks out to me this year. Really sticks out to me this year. So, Phillies, Braves, Nats, Mets, and Marlins. Moving on to the National League West, two teams, Dodgers and Rockies. And then the rest just kind of fall by the wayside. I think the Padres, they're a team that will surprise people this year. I think their pitching will be I think the pitching is really going to fail them like most years, but offensively, they finally have a lineup that can produce runs every single night. So watch out for the Padres in the National League West, but even still, they're not ready to compete just yet. The San Francisco Giants, I look at their team and they look like a rebuilding team, so they're not going to be a threat. The Arizona Diamondbacks, people are saying they're going to be really good this year. I don't think so. I think they're going to have a losing record this year. They've lost Paul Goldschmidt. They've lost Patrick Corbin. They've lost arguably their best pitcher and easily their best hitter. So they took a big step backwards, and they didn't really get anyone to really feel in for Patrick Corbin or Paul Goldschmidt. And Zach Greinke, he's getting older. So I don't know, the Diamondbacks may not even finish in third place. They may end up finishing fourth place or hell, even fifth. Because I think the Padres are going to do better than people think. So we'll see. But the Dodgers are going to win the division again. And the Rockies, I don't think they're going to take a wild card spot, but they're going to finish in second place. And they just might have a winning record. I don't know. Because I see 3 or 4 teams in the National League East who are going to have winning records. So the National League West, it might just be the Dodgers with a winning record. I don't know. Next up, and finally, we've got the National League Central. Wow, this is another fun division. The National League is going to be fun as hell this year, I have to admit. You've got the Cubs, Cardinals, Brewers, Reds, and Pirates. You've got 5 teams. You've got 5 teams that you can't sleep on. But I have the standings going as such. I've got the Cubs in first place. And in my opinion, it's largely going to be due to their pitching. I think their pitching is going to be better than last year. I think their pitching is going to be healthier. And I think guys like Chris Bryant in the lineup and Anthony Rizzo, I think they're going to carry the lineup. I think they'll do just fine. So I've got the Cubs, the Cardinals, the Brewers, the Reds, and then the Pirates. The Cardinals. Here's a team that very well may make the postseason as a wild card team, or they may even win the division. I'm still picking the Cubs, but I am not sleeping on the Cardinals. So the Cubs and Cardinals, I feel they're going to headline that division. The Brewers and the Reds, they are 2 teams that I'm really looking out for as well. The Reds, my favorite team in this division right now. They've got Sonny Gray, Tanner Roark, Alex Wood, Yasiel Puig, and Matt Kemp, Scooter Gennett, Joey Votto, and more. That's going to be a fun team to watch. And they may be like the A's last year. They may sneak into the postseason. Don't sleep on them. So there you have it. Those are my predictions for 2019 in regards to the end of the year awards as well as the end of the year standings. I think 2019 is going to be a fabulous year for baseball. I think we're going to have a lot of breakout players. I think we're going to have great years, great individual years, and another great postseason. So I look forward to continuing these podcasts into the season. And you guys let me know your predictions down in the comment section below. I'll catch you guys soon. All right, later.